Welcome to day number 4. Today, we're going to talk about breaking away from the path that is comfortable, but is not designed for you. Usually when your path is comfortable, there's something that you're not doing to stretch or expand yourself or, challenge you on what life is really about. Today, you're going to learn how to cultivate that confidence. And then I'm going to give you some affirmations for success. Over time, we gather a set of constricting habits around us, ones that trap us in a zone of supposed comfort. Well, today we're going to talk about how we should allow or going to be able to allow us to attain unconscious, uncomfortable, but challenging you how to get out of those habits that kind of get you stuck in a rut. When you have these constricting habits, pretty soon those habits help you slip below the level of your consciousness, but they still determine what you think, what you can and can't do, and what we cannot even bring ourselves to even try. As long as these habits are ruling you in your consciousness, you'll be stuck in a rut. So it's almost like, let's say, I know a perfect example. Those little, I guess they're sea anemone, I think they are, and they're like coral. They're on the coral reefs, and they're in a little circle. Then when it's time to eat, they kind of poke out, go back in, poke out, go back in. Well, think about your life when you're constricted to habits around you. You poke out and you go back in. You're only flexible to a certain degree, just like that coral, just you're going back in and out, in and out. And you're only stuck in that rock and that mindset, I got to go out and eat. The anemone goes out, comes back in. That's it. And you're stuck in that habit of doing those things that are comfortable but uncomfortable. And now let's say the waters where this coral reef, or not the coral reef, but the anemone is, and it's disturbed, it stays in, right? But as long as it's quiet and there's no storms around, it will come out and eat. But if the waters are disturbing, it won't come out and eat. And pretty soon, either something eats it or it dries up. That's where I don't want you to be, okay? That's where I don't want you to develop and stay and be stuck in a rut. So what we're gonna do today is we gotta go outside of that little container and create habits that mark, uncomfortability. And you wanna go outside of those marks that set you as a boundary, because there's no other way to live. There's even, yes, we've worked on our past, right? We worked on it, fairly good amount. But we want to work and we want to use the potential, the unused potential that you have, the wider, the most great part of the world that you're in. We want to get outside of that. We want your fears to be, we want to stimulate those fears, because fears are nothing but signals that you're doing something different that you've not done before. So it's not about scaring you to the point of like Halloween and you're scared, but it's more like fears say, oh, I'm afraid, I'm worried, because it's something new. So when you are questioned by your conscious mind, why are you doing this? This is something you're not used to. You start saying, well, something I'm not used to. I need to get outside of my comfort zone and be able to scare away the scaries that keep you inside. Okay, a lot of us stay in the comfort zone to avoid mistakes. Nobody is born with instructions. None of us for life. Despite all the helpful advice from our parents, teachers, elders, each of us make our own way in this world, doing the best we can and quite often getting things wrong, which is sometimes right because you learn a lesson. Messing up a few times isn't that big of a deal. The book that I read a long while ago, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, it's just that. Don't sweat the small stuff because those are the things that give you those lessons that you learn for the bigger things. But if you get scared and try to avoid all mistakes by sticking with just a few tried and true behaviors, you'll miss out on the most opportunities that you will ever get. You will miss out on them. Lots of people suffer from boredom at work or doing it to themselves. They're doing it to themselves. They're bored and frustrated because that's what their choices has caused them to be. They're stuck in ruts that they dug for themselves while trying to avoid making mistakes and taking risks. People who never make mistakes never make anything else either. They don't. They have a life that's nose to the grindstone and they're unhappy. Now, how do you break out of the cycle of your comfort zone? Now that you're in this rut now, how do you break out of it? It's time to pin down the habits that have become unconscious and that are running your life and get rid of them. Now, here's how to do it. Number one, understand the truth about your habits. And all week we've been talking about truth. There will always be a past, right? Whether they're good successes or bad successes. Okay? You have formed habitual automatic behaviors because you once dealt with something successful. You tried the same response the next time and found it worked again. That's how habits grow and why they feel so useful. To get away from what's causing you your unhappiness and your workplace blues, you must give up on many of your most fondly held and formidably successful habits and try new ways of thinking and acting creatively. There truly isn't any alternative. Those habits are going to block you from finding new and creative ideas. No new ideas, no learning, no access to successful change. You see, everything changes. Whether we like it or not, everything, everybody changes. The world changes. The seasons change. Even the seasons that we call spring, winter, spring, fall, summer, they even change. Okay? So we have to be ready to change these habits that had given us a truth before, right? Given us a success before, but no longer serve us because it's boring. I've done that before. So it's like playing a game that you got down pat and you keep playing it because you want to be successful in that. So what am I saying to you? Understand the truth about your habits is you're probably doing the same thing because it got you successes and successes make you feel good. So if you try something different, you might not get the same success, but you don't want to risk that because you always want to feel good. Understand the truth about your habits, why you do them, and where did it first start and why did it first start. Number two, do something, almost anything differently and see what happens. So if you're playing a game, try doing something different in that game and try to get out of it. I'm thinking of the Rubik's Cube, right? No matter how you do it and you get all the colors, you know, put together, right? You're never going to do it the same way to get the colors all matching. It's always going to be a different way because you have to be creative and fresh with it, right? So even the most successful habits eventually lose their usefulness as events change in the world and fresh responses are called for. Yet we cling on to them long after their benefit has gone. Get rid of things that no longer serve you. I know you've heard that before, right? Past strategies are bound to fail sometime. So letting them become automatic habits that take the control is sure to road to inflicted harm. So what you have to do, like anything else, it's like for me as a real estate broker, right? I can't sell a house in this market right now on Long Island the way I did in 1990, 1980, 2000. I can't even find a house in 2020. Okay. So it's not the same. You can't use the same creative juices that you used back in the past because they don't work when things are changing. Well, you need a fresh perspective, a creative perspective on how to now make my skill, my know-how work right in this market. And what you're going to do is self-inflict harm to yourself. You're going to make everything hard for you. And having confidence makes creates creativity, creates it in you, and it also you do everything easier. Things are drawn to you. Creativity, ideas pop like this, and the universe responds to your confidence. 3, take some time out and have a detailed look at yourself with no holes barred. Discovering your unconscious habits can be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to look at, why you do certain things and really say, hey, this is my ego. Hey, I just want to feel good. Hey, this is wrong, but this is what it is. For a start, they're unconscious, right? Then they fight back. When you try to get out of that unconscious habit, they fight back. They start talking to you. No, this is how you've been doing it. For me, when I was coming out of the religious sector of the religious order, I was unconsciously, I would get up and go to church. It was a habit. And it wasn't something that was going to get me closer to wherever thought I was going, but it was just a conscious habit. It was unconscious. And when I tried to break out of it, I fought tooth and nail. And I wanted to replace it with something else or another place to worship or some other facet of what I was doing. And it didn't work out every time. And your unconscious fights against you when you're trying to make changes that are good for you because you're so used to doing it. It's a method. Okay. Ask anyone who has ever given up smoking. They always have to play with something with their fingers. It's a habit that's hard to break. You've got used to them. You got used to having them. You maybe don't even need them. And they're addictive, and they do wreak havoc on your body, but it's just a habit. I've heard many people say, I gotta have a cigarette and coffee, or I gotta have cigarette and glass of wine or something. But it's just a habit, it's unconscious habit that you've been doing for a while, and you have to break that. You have to break that and replace it with something that's going to serve you well. 4, be who you are. Now, the trick of this is you have to know who you are. That's the trick. Because people want to please, they try to become what they believe others expect, even if it means forcing themselves to be the kind of person they aren't deep down. I know for years I was doing that, and I was unhappy. And I kept saying, why am I unhappy? Only to find out that I wasn't being who I really was, mistakes and all. You know, strengths and weaknesses. I wasn't being who I was. I was being a creation of what someone else wanted me to be. You need to start by putting yourself first. What is it why am I not first? Yes, I'm not first because I'm acting and I'm dressing, I'm doing what you want me to do, what you say, but you're unique. You don't have to dress like everyone. You don't have to have your hair like everyone else. We're all unique. So saying this doesn't suggest you're better than others or deserve more than they do. It just suggests that you need to be yourself. Back when I was discovering myself and I was learning how to discover myself, and I was breaking out of that little box of the uniformity of religiosity, the first thing I did was I looked myself deep in the mirror and asked myself, who was I? You know, what do I want? And so when I was doing that, I always loved different hairstyles. I loved to be creative with my hair. And I looked at my hair and I said, that's where I'm going to start. And I called my nephew over, he cuts hair, and I said, I want you to come over and cut my hair, number 1. So he's like, number 1? So he thought maybe I was talking about a hairstyle or whatever. But I said, no, I want it all off because I want to see how it grows and be able to appreciate it. And then I can choose what I want for my hair. You need to put yourself first because no one else has as much interest in your life as you do. And because if you don't, no one else will. So if you are your brand and your brand is you, however you dress, however you want to be, is who you are. So putting on for others, it's not healthy for you. Putting others second means giving them their due respect, yet ignoring them totally about how you should be. Keeping up a self-image can be boredom. It can literally make you angry. I'm a witness to that. Make you angry at the world. It can literally do harm to your body. Can literally have you hanging in the balance. And it's very unrealistic as well. And you know what else? I believe it's a curse. So give yourself a break. Be true to yourself. Be you. If you want to wear purple, if you want to wear green glasses, if you want to wear purple lipstick, be who you are. Just be who you want to be. If you want to wake up and wear fluorescent yellow, that's what you want to wear. Whatever you want to wake up and wear that day, wake up and wear it. 5, slow down and let go. Most of us want to think of ourselves as good, kind, intelligent, and caring people. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it isn't. That's how I feel. Some days I don't feel like being good, kind, intelligent. I just want to be laying on the couch, not doing anything. And other times I am that. But it's okay. Reality is complex. We can't function at all without constant input and support from other people. Everything we have, everything we've learned, came to us through someone else's hands. At our best, we pass on this borrowed existence to others, enhanced by our own little contribution. And at our worst, we waste and squander it. So recognize that you're a rich mixture of thoughts and feelings that come and go, some useful, some not. There's no need to keep up a facade, no need to pretend, no need to fear of what you don't know, what's true, what's false. You just need to be true you. So let go of all that knowing everything, because you don't. When you face your own truth, you'll find it's enormous relief. So a great example is if somebody's talking about something you have no idea, and I've said this a lot, people will be talking to me about something and they'll say, you know what I'm saying? I was like, no. You bored me at the second sentence. I have no idea what you said. And if that's the truth, that's my truth. But you have to speak that and not go, yeah, and you have no idea what they're talking about. Boredom. You start lying to yourself. If you're maybe not as wonderful as you'd like to be, you aren't nearly as bad as you fear either. So stop trying to get it all perfectly right. The truth really does set you free. Free to work on being better and to forgive yourself for being human. Free to express yourself. It's free to express gratitude to others and recognize what you owe them. You know, when you owe people money, you know you owe them money. Pay them. Free to acknowledge your feelings without letting them dominate your life. And above all, you'll be free to understand the truth of living. That much of what happens to you is no more than chance. It can't be avoided, and it's not your fault. There's no point in beating yourself up about it. Now, what's my final thoughts about all of this? What is holding you in a situation and actions that no longer work for you often isn't inertia or procrastination. It's the power of habitual ways of seeing the world and thinking about your events. Until you get, until you let go of these old, worn out habits, they'll continue to hold you prisoner. To stay in your comfort zone through mere habit, or worse still, to stay there because it's irrational fears, something that doesn't even have any truth about it, will condemn you to a life of frustration and regret. If you can accept the truth about the world and yourself, change whatever is holding you back, and get on with a fresh view of life, you'll find that single action lets you open the door of your self-imposed prison and walk free. There's a marvelous world out there. You'll see if you try it. So how do I try it? How do I begin to climb out this bucket, right? I started years ago with affirmations. Affirmations for confidence is one, I value myself. I can overcome every obstacle that comes my way. I believe in my abilities. Every challenge I overcome is a success. I have everything I need for success. I'm stronger than my fears. I can face every challenge. I don't need validation from others to know how good I am. Self-depreciation is something I don't need. I am in complete control of my emotions. There's nothing I am afraid of. It's okay to fail because that's the road to success. I learned something from every experience. I deserve to feel good about myself. I can embrace my flaws and my imperfections. I love how I look. My happiness and well-being are important. Nobody has the right to make me feel less worthy. I create my destiny. I celebrate and reward myself for every win, no matter how small it may seem. I know I'm making the right choices in life. Now, you can use any of these affirmations to accept your flaws and build your confidence. You can do it in front of the mirror. When you're feeling insecure, you can grab that piece of paper and say that to yourself. Incorporate it into your routine, your personal and your professional level. Grab 5 of your favorite affirmations and say them 3 to 5 times a day. Like any other habit, the effects won't be apparent right away, but I tell you, and I'm living proof of that, they work. As simple as they may seem, affirmations are a powerful tool. You can change the mental image of yourself and your surrounding just by repeating a few words every day or before stressful situations. Affirmations for confidence are free, beneficial, and require only a few minutes of your time. So I'm going to challenge you to take 5 of those affirmations and design a time slot for that. You can repeat them 3, 4, 5 times a day so that your confidence level and the rungs on your ladder, you can pull yourself out of this comfort zone into confidence. Okay? So I hope that this helped you. This, again, is the 4th day. Okay? Now, 5th day, we're going to have special guests, and they will be talking about your finances. So this is going to be exciting. And I talk about this all the time in the 5 pillars of life. You have fun and finances, spiritualism, socializing, relationships. You have those pillars, and they have to be strong in your life. And what's most important now is your financial, because when finances is like the backbone of how you stand up in life. So whether it's a little bit or a lot, you still have confidence because you have control over something you didn't have control over before. So I want you to be here for that. I want you to be alert. I want you to take notes. And remember, as always, I'm available to chat with you at any time. Just click the video below, X for my calendar, and I'll be able to give you that. And you can have 30 minutes of my time, and we could talk about one goal that you want to accomplish. And then if you're ready to either personally move on or professionally move up another level with my coaching system and program, then we can talk about getting set up in a program that fits you. Maybe it's the 12-week, maybe it's the 6-month, maybe it's just one time to get you on that trail that you need to be on. Who knows? But you won't know until you ask, until you talk about it. So I'm available to you as your life purpose coach. And again, you can always go below this video, right below, and request time with me. This is Edna White, and I'll see you in the next day. Oh, and by the way, the 5th day, again, is going to be finances. But the last 2 days, I'm going to give you an audio for the second to last day. And the last day, I'm going to post a video. So you don't have to show up here, but I'm going to post a video so that we can talk about all the things that you've done in this 7-day confidence challenge to get you to the next level. Hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, or morning.